Blood West is finally out, and the game delivers on something that's not quite stealth, not quite action, but a very interesting mix of designs if you are ready to go along for this wild western ride. Blood West has been in early access for some time and it finally released at the end of 2023. Our story is that we play as a deceased cowboy in the Wild West has been corrupted by some strange evil. The dead have risen, most people have either fled or been murdered, and we are going to have to administer some Old West justice in order to figure out what is going on and perhaps save the world along the way. If you've been watching footage of this game or trailers, it's easy to think that this game is either an Old West Doom or a Thief Cowboy edition, but the game is neither. It definitely borrows elements from kind of immersive sim or RPG style shooters like a Stalker or a Deus Ex, but it definitely delivers everything in a very different take. How the game is set up is that you have 3 chapters, each taking place on its own biome, complete with unique enemies, quests, and loads of items to find. Most of your weapons are going to be gun-based, and you'll need to find, buy, or locate, if you're lucky off of dead bodies, the ammo you need to use them. There are different kinds of ammos that also will do different amount of damage. The interesting thing about Blood West is that while the game is set up 100% real-time shooter, run, pew-pew, that kind of thing, there's a lot of abstraction that goes into the progression and general gameplay that is going to be polarizing to some people. So the first thing is that you have a kind of skill tree or passives. As you level up, you'll gain skill points, which you can apply to a variety of traits. These can do everything from increase the amount of money you get from selling items, to even giving you passive melee and range dodge. And that is the first point about this game. Enemies are really good at tracking you, both in melee and range, and you do not have any kind of movement-based tech to dodge. There's no dodge roll, dash, or anything like that. You'll need to either hopefully move very slowly out of the way, hide behind something, or to let your dodge chances do their thing. Combat is mixed between stealth and action. Enemies can see or hear you, and there is a trait that increases your ability to sneak. Hit an enemy when they're not looking at you, and you'll gain a critical hit. And in most cases, a melee attack to the back of a later enemy is enough to one-shot them. Against medium and large enemies, definitely not. The gunplay here is grounded, similar to that of Hunt Showdown. We're dealing with 19th century weapons, so no Gatling guns, machine guns, assault rifles, things like that. Your revolvers can take a while to reload, at least a while in terms of shooter time. But of course, a double barrel shotgun is, well, 2 shells. The game tries to present itself in kind of a quote-unquote class structure, and that you can build yourself towards different specialties. And that's where the unique items in Blood West come in. There's 2 sets of uniques in this game. There are unique weapons that you can find or buy, and kind of artifacts, which can be found, bought, or earned through questing. The unique weapons are really well done in this game. Each one is basically a modified version of one of the existing types, but it will come with some unique element to it. One of the most powerful kind of one-handed double-barrel shotguns comes with the modifier that once you equip it, you can't take it off unless you're killed. Another weapon, such as the Ghost Bow, allows you spawning or infinitely generating bow that you can use for stealth attacks, but it costs you health in the process. But there are plenty of artifacts that provide you with health regen, so that can get rid of that negative. And the artifact and unique system is one of my favorite parts of this game because they really do present a variety of ways of approaching the different combat and giving you more elements of fine-tuning your build. Unfortunately, you can only equip at any time 2 weapons and 3 artifacts. So if you're hoping to get like really crazy in terms of builds or swapping combinations, You're not going to find that here. With the general progression, each chapter is a point of no return. Once you beat chapter 1, you're never going to go back there and rinse and repeat. And this does present some of the challenges of this game. Blood West, as I said, is an unusual game, and it's unusual in the sense of its difficulty. You see, this is not a game where you can fight lots of enemies at a single time. You don't have a lot of base health, enemies do lots of damage, and if you get caught between like a medium, a heavy, and a few light enemies, if you can't outrun them or get away, you are basically dead. And this is where the difficulty of this game can get quite frustrating. Every time you die, if you do not have a gold coin equipped, you will earn part of a curse that acts as a debuff. Get 3 deaths in a row and you'll get the stronger variant of that curse. There are means of lifting the curse, including drinking a revival potion or completing kind of like a mini quest, but at the wrong time, these curses can just severely hurt your game. If you get the reduces your ability to sneak curse when you're on a mission that you're trying to stealth, it's going to become a lot of pain. And this game has a habit of kind of like twisting the knife every time you die. Because all your resources are consumable, it means that a death will cost you everything that you used up until that point. Now when you do die, not every enemy respawns. I believe it's like 10% of the enemies killed respawn every time you die, or you sleep at one of the kind of rest areas. But this can add up, especially if you're trying to do some of the later challenges. As you get further into this game, the ability for enemies to detect you gets higher and higher. And if you're not getting the weapons or better items that'll compensate for it, it can become frustrating. And the very first, like kind of like the Act 1 boss, is immensely frustrating. It is a huge difficulty spike, despite the fact that bosses 2 and 3 are noticeably easier to kill. My big suggestion for if you do get stuck at that fight, just use all the gold ammo that you have and just rip and tear through it. Don't care about the ads, don't care about running out of money, just hit them with your heaviest ammo and it will most likely fall, provided you do the kind of stealth area before it. And this is again the point about Blood West. This is a game that is either going to be ridiculously easy for you, so easy that you're probably wondering why people aren't even getting far into it, or you're going to find this game immeasurably difficult. You're going to be constantly cursed, not surviving combat, and it can become a very frustrating time. And you need to approach this game again both from its RPG and shooter aspects. Some of these skills are just so damn important to your survival. One that I highly suggest you take if you're going to do anything with ranged weapons is the slow down time perk that grants you a few seconds of slowdown whenever you aim down the sights. This has saved me plenty of times, especially when something huge is coming at you and you need to land that headshot. Inventory sorting can be a bit of a pain. You can buy bags that you can fill your other items, but you can only sort your main inventory, not your individual bags, which I find is a weird decision. The other point is that quests can become a little bit frustrating. This is one of those games where it can be very easy to forget what you're supposed to be doing on one of the side quests. During the 3rd chapter, I completed 3 side quests just by wandering aimlessly in the woods, and no idea like how I was supposed to find them without those hints. But the game does give you quest markers for the major objectives. With everything said, Blood West is a very unusual game. It's not quite stealth, it is certainly not an immersive sim, but it's also very grounded in terms of its gunplay. While it's certainly not going to be the Dark Souls of Wild Westerns or the Western Thief Deus Ex you may be looking for, I still enjoy this one, and I would like to see the developer kind of go further with this design, maybe in a sequel, maybe in DLC, as there are some really solid elements, if again you are in the right mindset for this. So with that said, with Blood West, if you like a game where you can do a little bit of sneaking, a little bit of shooting, and some RPGing on the side, I would recommend at least giving this one a check. And with that said, thank you for watching this video, and I would like to thank the developer for providing me with a press key to do my own shooting and sneaking here. You let me to play your game, it does not have to involve cowboys, sneaking, or giant western monsters, then be sure to get in touch. That's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to do the YouTubing stuff people tell you to do. If you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my books wherever they are sold. Visit our Discord and Patreon, and come back for daily discussions on game design here, and on game wisdom, where some of the art and science of games.